Streaming live.
It is another episode of Say It Loud podcast with your favorite Gilf here, Karen L. And in my hot seat today is Miss Tabitha Williams. I shouldn't have to clap. I have a button for that. I just, yeah. All right. So, hi, Tabitha.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here with Say It Loud.
I appreciate you. I know it's hot outside. I'm sweating in here, but thank you for sitting in with me. So Tabitha, I want you to tell everybody a little bit about what you do and who you are before we get into the rest of our conversation. So they're like, who the hell is she talking to?
Okay. All right. So I am Tabitha C. Williams. I am the host and producer of the TV show What's Eating Harlem. And we're getting ready to launch our 9th season. So I'm just waiting for the official air date. Everything's been turned into the network. So it's a really exciting time. And yeah, so I'm a host and producer, but that's not the only thing I do. I also host other things, background in music.
Yes.
So I was a freelance music host for the longest, interviewing your favorite R&B, pop, gospel, and sometimes reggae stars.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So let's start with the show. We're going to go through all of it, but let's start with the show. What is What's Eating Harlem?
So What's Eating Harlem covers Harlem, but not just Harlem, the exciting people and places that you should get to know. We cover the history, the culture of people, introducing you to places that you may not have known that they were there, and familiarizing yourself with the community. So if you're not from Harlem, you may want to come. And if you're in Harlem, it's a draw for you to leave your place. And that's because Harlem is international. It's world renowned. So
yeah. I love Harlem. I tell my kids at school that my favorite thing to teach is about the Harlem Renaissance. So I love it for that. I also love it for so much culture, and the variety of culture that's there, and that the time periods through it. I feel like we don't celebrate that enough, and there's not enough space in certain places for us to talk about it and be about it. So I appreciate you using your voice for that. So what's it like being the host of What's Eating Harlem?
Being the host is really exciting, especially like how you said, I was drawn to the Harlem Renaissance. I'm from Harlem.
Right.
And so it's always interesting to know the place I've grown up. You hear about the Harlem Renaissance. You hear about, Billie Holiday being over here, Langston Hughes over there. But it's completely different when you're sitting with someone. First off, I have a historian on the show. Her name is Lana Turner. Okay. And as she's talking, she's like, County Cullen gave me this book.
Yeah.
And it's like autographed and signed to her. And so it's just a merging of what seems unfathomable and untangible.
Right.
Really making it real. And I really enjoy how it's generation to generation. Because let's be clear, I wasn't around back then. So
right.
I can't pretend no matter how much I've read. It's different when you hear a first count story. And we have other guests who they start telling you a story of how they grew up there about like 80 years old.
Right.
And tell a story of how they grew up and they needed help with their literature. This is exactly what they say. And their grandmother got them a tutor, and the tutor was Mr. Hughes.
Wow.
AKA Langston Hughes.
Right.
And as they continue talking, they're like, and by the way, my godfather is Malcolm X.
Right.
And this isn't stuff that's made up, it's real stuff. And you're just you're sitting at the foot of history.
Yeah, you get to visualize it and be in it firsthand. And I think so many people need to know that. Right, because we kind of walk through certain places and we just see it, but we don't look at the history or the people that have kind of journeyed through that history with us. So I love that. How is it preparing for the show?
So first off, right. So my background was my first job ever was Sesame Street. So being in front of the camera, I did that at age 5. Being in front of the camera is like talking to a friend. Right. I forget there's cameras. I forget there's lights. It's just kind of like, hey, friends, let's talk about it. So my prep is really kind of light. Obviously, there's research and there's reading and knowing on the guest and, coming up with the topics. But I'm really focused on things being organic because you never know what turn the conversation is going to take. And if I just solely focused on my list of questions 1 through 10. I'm missing on the gems that could really come from just a normal conversation.
Absolutely.
So my biggest thing for prep is making sure that the guests are comfortable. Just because someone's in the public does not always mean they're comfortable speaking.
Right. That's very true.
So, making sure that they're comfortable with me in their space, acknowledging the other people that they may have in their space with them. Because it's an engagement. It's a dance. You all
right.
Get along together.
And you get the best out of people when they are comfortable and they do feel safe, and you make it that space where we can just go ahead and just go versus that, like, that hard interview type of thing where you're just like, okay, all right, we talked, I answered the questions and that's it. There's no personality, there's no energy. I don't like those.
It's that, or like the 1-word response.
Yeah. But that's not a conversation to me. Like, I feel like when people don't talk to me, because I talk a lot, so I feel like when people don't talk to me, they don't want to talk to me.
I don't take it personally. I accept that maybe that's just how that person is. And I've had people that have done that. And upon like close looking, like you can see hives coming out of their neck. Like they're giving you the best that they have. It's just
I do get that with podcasting. I've had people that are like, I'm uncomfortable. And I'm like, but they can't see you. And it's like, no, but like my voice or being recorded or things like that. So some of it is a personality thing. But I do understand people feeling comfortable in their space and the person they talk to, because that is the essence of what a conversation is, and learning more about a person. They will let their guard down a little bit more when they're in a comfortable space. So that's kind of cool. So do we not talk about food? Because I'm a foodie.
Oh, we talk about food all the time. And full disclosure, I'm a really big carnivore, but I recognize that not everybody wants to eat meat all day like me. Right? So making sure that there's variety and diversity. And I love not just food, but food with a healthy portion. And make my money and that plate make sense.
Right.
Don't charge me an abundant amount. And first off, I can't identify it. And secondly, I'm still hungry.
Yeah, you gave me 3 asparagus and it was $98. I get it. But Harlem has like some really, like, not just good food, but also ambiance. Because I love food and I love good food, but I'm big on ambiance. I like to get dressed up and go into a place and really just take in that vibe. And so I feel like Harlem has a lot of cool places where you could do that.
So we give that in terms of the ambiance and get dressed up and be your grown and sexy, or just have your time to let your hair down. But then I also like places that are really casual. Right. And when I don't want to be dressed up, but I still want to eat because I don't want to cook. Right. Where can I go? And know that I'm going to be received with warmth, kindness, and a full belly.
Right. Yeah, you're going to roll out of there. I get it.
Yeah.
So tell me, how did you get started in just like this work? I know you were on Sesame Street at 5 years old, but like, what was the journey like for you?
My journey has been a roller coaster and like a wheel-a-whirl, like going in circles. You think you're going up and it's like, oh, it's a valley. Right. It's long valley. Like it's not for the faint of heart. Yeah. My journey by no means is conventional, because I started off with Sesame Street. And then that really opened my mind to wanting to be on set and wanting to be around cameras, and not just on camera, but knowing what the people behind the camera did. Right. Why are you standing here? Why do you have this thing that's clicking? Like, what are you doing? Yeah. So I started to learn that stuff. And then as a teenager, I started working with MTV.
Nice.
Yes. But all of these jobs I've literally fallen into. I'm religious. I'm a church girl. And so I'm like, that's God's grace. Just knowing.
Yeah. I know how many times I applied to MTV. So I know that's God's grace.
So here it is. I didn't apply. Each of these jobs, from Sesame Street to even What's Eating Harlem to even MTV, I've never applied for a job.
That's crazy. I used to have it saved on my computer, like I'm gonna every Friday, and I'm like, I'm not getting anywhere. I'm trying
to tell you, it's just been, but that doesn't mean that it's come easy. Right. It's been really hard, because then you have to deal with the internal pressure of feeling like maybe I'm not as good as the person that did apply because they went to school and they did all this stuff.
Right.
And just feeling pressured to always be your best.
Right.
So yeah, I never applied to MTV. I actually was casted in that show Wannabe.
Okay.
And that's because I look like Brandy.
You do.
And so that's my introduction to MTV, and kind of bonding with the producers. They were like, we're calling you for future jobs. And this went on forever, to the point that I got to know the crew and everybody there, no matter what show they were doing. Are you available? And I'm in high school, and it's like, yeah, I have nothing to do. So
wow, that's a gift. That is God's grace.
That's 100% His grace.
That's 100% God's grace.
Hands off that, right? Like,
yeah,
I can't take credit for that.
Yeah.
So that happened. But then in college, I went to UConn. I'm a Husky.
Hey.
Yeah. 5-time world champs, men's basketball, just saying. But I went, and unfortunately it was during the recession, and I went to major in communications, and my advisor is telling me, you can do that, but you won't have a job.
Right.
You're going to graduate and you won't have a job at all. So now it's now I got to, before you even enter the workforce, you got to resolve within yourself that you're doing a job that you're not passionate about, but you need to pay bills.
Right.
And maybe one day an opportunity will come and you can do what you
want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. My undergrad degree is in media communications. And I had people say to me, well, what are you going to do with that? And I was at a point in my life that I had tried to go to school to be an accountant and to be other things. And I was like, that don't work for me. This works. This is going to get me through school. This is how I'm going to do it. Because if I don't do it this way, I'm not going to be able to do it, because none of these other things I really want to do. And so, yes, I have an undergraduate degree in media communications. I love it. I make no apologies. But yes, the rest of the world will be like, why are you going to college? How are you going to work? You're going to starve. And that's not true.
But you got to be able to believe in yourself enough.
Yeah.
And my issue at that stage in life was I trusted my advisors.
Yeah, of course.
The people who know how. And if you're telling me I'm going to be broke, I don't want to be that.
Right, of course.
And now I'm majoring in English, right?
Yeah.
And that's because no matter what job you go for, they need someone that can speak and write well.
Right.
Okay, so now I have that skill, but I didn't necessarily want to go into education. I still wanted to be, my ultimate job, honestly, I wanted to be the next Oprah, but my start would be an MTV VJ.
Okay, that's fair.
Right.
It's reasonable. At the time, yeah.
Only MTV was doing something different, and they weren't looking for VJs.
Yeah.
And Oprah was just kind of unreachable at the time.
Yeah. So there's that, yeah.
There's that. And kind of, I've tried so many different jobs. Like, I can't wait till I'm really old. I mean, like, really old to be like, let me tell you what I used to do. I worked at a drug rehab as a receptionist and then became a project manager. I became an international flight attendant.
Wow. I thought about doing that.
Yeah, but they're not chasing my passion.
No.
I was running completely away from it because now I'm completely discouraged by it.
Right. Discouraged, and then you get to an age where you're like, yo, I got bills to pay, right? In college, it's just like, oh, I'll do what I want. It's kind of figure out. And then you get into, you're like, oh, snap, I got a cell phone. Oh, snap, I got a car payment. Now I have to do something.
Now I have to do what I have to do. And also feeling intimidated by the process because now I'm so far removed.
Right.
And I don't have that degree in mass communication. So
yeah,
who's checking for me?
Right.
That was my internal talk, and it's complete bull.
Right.
Complete bull.
But that's hindsight. You kind of got to live through it to know that.
Right. But I started modeling, and I was signed to 3 different agencies. And so there was work that would lead to camera work that from time to time would lead to being on set.
Right.
But it wasn't consistent. It wasn't my soul thing. You still had to have your 9 to 5 and your dream.
Right.
But modeling is what led me to What's Eating Harlem. I ended up meeting the former host, Vanessa Tyler, who is a sweetheart. And I was like, look, I don't know, like, I don't know what you may need, but I just want to be on set. I just want to watch and learn. I will carry your coffee. I will carry your bag, whatever it is. You don't even have to pay me. Just can I come and be there? Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted.
That's so weird. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah. And so she said, okay. And she was really bubbly. And she's like, come be at this place at this time. We're shooting here. And I was the PA for the show.
Nice. And so you went in and just was like, I'll do whatever it is I have to do.
Yeah.
And that was it.
How badly do you want something? What are you willing to do?
That's
so crazy. You're feeling like you're lacking in a skill. Well, learn the skill, but learn the skill while chasing the dream and doing what you got to do.
That's amazing, because a lot of people don't. And that was one of my questions, like, what keeps you motivated to do that? Because a lot of people will reach a wall and they'll just stop. They won't go in there and say, I'll carry the coffee. They won't go in there and say, this is hard. They won't go in there and keep going back. And so what motivates you to kind of like do that?
My mom was always in my ear. My mom is my biggest supporter. And I love her for that, because honestly, she sees things in me that I've yet to see. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way, but you see it. But then she couldn't take that step for me. Like, I still had to do it. And it was, those moments I say to myself, like, just try.
Yeah.
That's literally what I say to myself. Just try. If you make it, you make it. If you don't, okay.
But Tabitha, you do understand how big that is, right? Because that's not something like for you. You're sitting here, and this is wonderful. I just want you to know, like, not the rest of the world doesn't necessarily always walk around to say just try. They just kind of talk, like you said, they talk themselves out of it. Like, that's a big thing to show up.
But that's what I'm saying. So I want to be very clear. I, for the longest, I broke myself down. It didn't take somebody else saying something negative. It started with me. It started in my mind, right? So that's already there. But then the other part of my personality is I'm a middle child. I'm rebellious. So on one hand, I can tell myself what I can't do, but don't you dare try.
Right. Because I'm going to do exactly what you tell me I can't do.
Now I'm going to show you all the way. I got to have the last laugh.
Right.
And so that's where that comes from. So I'm going for the last laugh, but all the while I'm knocking myself down. Like, you shouldn't have done this.
Yeah.
But that person's going to be better than you. Or you know the acting realm and being in that room. And you know how uncomfortable the casting call room is. Where you're all there.
Yeah.
You see girls that look like you. At times I've been in a casting call room with girls that had on the same outfit as me.
Wow.
Ego shot. Like, oh man, she's got the outfit too.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do?
How am I gonna stand out in this room of all these people?
Not even how am I gonna stand out? Well, she's gonna get it.
Yeah.
Immediately, just knocking myself out the box.
Yeah.
But then still, like I said, my mom's pushing me all along. You can do this.
So the next question is, how important is it to have people around you that help motivate you and support you?
You gotta have it. You gotta have it. Not only do you have to have people around you, and it's not even people, a person.
Right.
Let it be one. And then I'm big on affirmations. I will write a good quote down and like my phone, my Apple Watch, everything is a quote.
Yeah.
It's not like a home screen. It's not somebody else's picture. It's a quote.
Right.
The other thing I learned is you can't be afraid to do it by yourself.
Let's talk about it, Tabitha.
You can't be afraid to do it, right? Because you can have a crew and you can have a group. And maybe you're the odd thinker in the group.
Right.
Everybody is comfortable where they're at. And you're sitting here saying to yourself, this isn't enough.
Right.
So how do you move forward when nobody's supporting you?
Right.
Nobody wants to be like, instead they're like, girl, you crazy.
Yeah.
How do you want to do that?
Yeah. This doesn't make any sense.
You trying to be bougie? Oh, you too good for us? All of that stuff comes up.
Yeah.
and having to say, I could try.
Right. I'm going to do it anyway.
I could try is the first step.
Yeah.
I could try, and whatever that first step is, whether it's applying to that job, just go there.
Right.
You can tackle everything else if it comes when it comes, but just that first step.
Yeah. Just take the first step.
And my first step was, let's see, I had come out of a bad breakup. I was in love. He was the love of my life. We were supposed to be married.
Yes.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Yes. We all got a story like that.
My friends are all doing whatever makes them happy, but it's not enough for me. And the things I want to do seems too out of reach for them.
Mm-hmm.
What if I go by myself? I already feel awkward.
Right.
What if I just go and I just try to be there for 15 minutes? Like, this is how I used to talk to myself. If I can just go to whatever this event is, it seemed really cool. I really, really want to do it. It's in my budget. I want to go. So I'm going to go for 15 minutes. And in 15 minutes, I'm going to take a lot of deep breaths because anxiety is rising, right? And I'm going to try to talk to two people. New people, not people I know. 2 new people. And I'm going to try to just enjoy whatever it is. This was concerts, movies.
Wow.
Outdoor events. I'm by myself. And reassured in the fact that, with a movie, well, nobody's supposed to be talking anyway.
Right.
Yeah. With a concert, everybody's looking forward anyway.
Yeah.
This outdoor event, everybody's here for this one thing anyway.
Right.
So if I feel really, really insecure, overwhelmed, after 15 minutes, I can leave.
That's a good way of looking at it. That is a really good way of looking at it. To kind of just give yourself, but to just go. Just try.
Just try. That's the first step and only step. So if I see this job and I feel like, okay, I got 6 out of the 10 skills, just try.
Right.
I've heard no before.
Yeah. What's the worst thing that could happen?
What's the worst thing? I'm already where I'm supposed to be. It isn't like they're going to take me lower.
Right.
I could possibly go higher. So just try.
Oh, I love that. I love that, Tabitha. So let's talk about self-care. Okay. I feel like we don't talk about self-care enough. Like, doing all these wonderful things are great. And we were talking behind the scenes before we started recording, but how do you define self-care? And then how do you incorporate that into your life?
I'll be honest, I am not the best. Self-care. My self-care sometimes looks like when life has knocked me down.
Right.
Because I've pushed myself too hard and maybe I got sick. So now I got to focus on self-care.
Right. So you kind of like forced yourself into it versus.
Yeah. Sometimes it happens that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like consciously be like, okay, I got to make some time to just take care of myself.
So I've gotten better. A lot of it honestly came out of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like we all have these lists of one day, maybe I'll try something. It could be crazy. It could be skydiving. It could be,
It was the banana bread during the pandemic. I was on Instagram. I was like, why everybody making banana bread? Like, did I miss the memo?
I still want to make it because it's so good with butter in the morning and it's a little warm. Like, but my thing was horseback riding.
Okay.
No one that I know that lives in Harlem. Yeah. Okay. Let's be clear. I live in Harlem. Nobody's talking about riding horses.
Right.
Because that's not common.
We're in Harlem to really ride horses, but okay.
Where do you go? Nobody's even around farm animals. And let's be clear. I consider a horse a farm animal.
Right.
But that's what I want to try. And during the pandemic, I began to learn how to ride.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And I'm tying that into self-care because when you ride, there are things that you learn about yourself because I can't be distracted by music.
Right.
I can't have a screen in front of me.
No, not on a horse.
No, I have to focus on everything at hand because the horse also reads your emotions.
Right. And your temperament.
And will mirror them.
Right.
So if I'm going riding with an attitude and I'm walking in, sucking my teeth and being like, the horse literally does the same exasperated exhale.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there like,
it's actually scary because that's a big animal to be having an attitude.
You become one.
Yeah.
And that self-care for me in terms of it gets me out of my head.
Yeah.
It allows me to be present in the moment.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters but me and this beautiful creature, this majestic creature that is listening to what I'm doing, not saying, I'm not pulling the reins. It's my feet. It's my eyes because they follow your eyes. So there's really no conversation.
Nope. And you gotta trust each other. The horse has to trust you.
You learn to trust each other.
You have to trust the horse to be able to get on it and be like, okay, well, we're gonna go where I say I go, but you gotta listen to me and I gotta listen to you. That's a big deal too.
You gotta go where I look.
Yeah.
If I look to the right, you're taking me to the right. If I look to the left, you're taking me to the left.
Wow. So how has that experience been for you?
It's been calming. It's been calming. It's been peaceful.
That is self-care then, Tabitha.
That's why I said that. I said that is self-care. And so now I adamantly go riding every week. Phone is off for an hour. I am unreachable to the world. Normally my phone is on 24/7.
Yeah, that I feel like self-care looks different for every different person, and it doesn't have to be a bathtub and a cup of tea. Self-care can be sitting in the grass. It can be sitting by the water. For me, my favorite daily self-care is when I pull up to my house and I don't get out the car right away. You know that time between you gotta switch brains. I'm like, I need 5 minutes before I go into whatever. And there's nothing here. It's just me and my son. But still, it just is a few minutes where I just like, I need to sit for a second. And whatever happened today at work, that needs to stop here. Because when I go inside, I walk in and I will tell my 13-year-old son, I need 20 minutes to decompress. And he always laughs. He's like, Mom, you're going to decompose. I said, no, I'm not going to decompose. I need 20 minutes to decompress. And then whatever it is that you need after that, I got you. But you got to give me that 20 minutes. And he does.
I mean, all of that. It's that I just recently purchased my own place, my first place. And so that's my new self-care. I could spend hours on home goods, visualizing how I want to decorate this one corner, not even a whole room. Just
But that's self-care. I feel like whatever it is that brings you that peace, that allows you to be present, be in that moment, and feel good is a form of self-care. And I think more people need to practice that and be honest about that, and then like make time for it, because we schedule work, we schedule doctor's appointments, we schedule the gym, we schedule whatever it is, going to brunch with our friends or whatever, but do we take the time to be like, okay, this is my hour for myself?
Well, like, first off, you said my keyword and my intentional word for this year, which is peace.
Yeah.
No matter what, I'm going to have my peace. Yeah. Anything that's a threat to my peace gotta go.
That's right.
I'm going to have my peace, right? So that's one. Now, you mentioned like having your child. I don't have any children.
Yeah.
And people look at that like, you don't have any kids. That means you have nothing but free time. And it's like, in what world?
Right.
It doesn't work that way.
Right.
Because though I don't have children, I've got children. I have parents.
Yeah, it could be anything. It could be I have a home. A home.
So like my pull is always being there for everybody else.
Yeah, but that's depleting at times too.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying like building that peace, setting that boundary. That's my here. It doesn't always look like you said, like the bathtub. Instead, it looks like telling somebody no. Instead, it looks like turning my phone off to go ride a horse.
Yeah. I just recently started putting my phone on Do Not Disturb. Like I just recently started doing that so that there's times of the day. It's not all day. It's usually at night where it's just like, if it's not an emergency, because it's not just people in that boundary. It's me with that boundary too. Yes, you sent me an email at 11:30 because you were working at 11:30. But it's also me going, okay, I need to look at this in whatever space I am. I'm at, you know what I mean? And so I had to learn to be like, okay, I need to not pick up the phone.
I'm worse than that because I have people that push past that boundary. Oh, it's on Do Not Disturb, call it twice.
Oh.
So now, in order to secure that boundary, my phone has to be in another room or literally underneath the bed on silent. Which means I'm not going to get up out of the comfy bed to go get this phone to go look at it.
Yeah. I get it. Because we're so connected to it that it's like every time I see a ding or a ping, or maybe it's my OCD, I don't know. But I'm like, oh, I have to respond. Oh, I have to be accountable. Oh, I have to talk about this. Oh, this is business. Oh, and I get it. But at other times, I'm like, at some point, it has to finish for today.
We identify with the Superman cape.
Yeah. Yeah, why am I like this?
I'm here
why are we like this?
Well, I know it's because I'm the middle child.
I am a middle child too.
Well, then there we are. It's because
I think that's the personality thing too.
So my theory is, as the middle child, you may seem a little shaky in the start, but instead you end up being the grounding force for the family.
How did you know that?
Because that's what I live.
Oh my gosh. That's what I live.
That's my existence. So I joke with my family, I call myself the glue, because if something happens, I'm the one that everyone's calling and I'm coordinating and doing no matter what's going on. But what about me?
Right. That's what
I don't say, hey, I need this break, or it's either no, because that never comes up, hey, I need this break. Instead, it's like a breakdown or I get sick.
Right. Which is my body breaking down.
Which is,
oh my God, I feel like we're
twins. That's why I said to you, that's my self-care. Like my body just kind of goes.
Yeah, I feel like that's my life. I think because I'm so responsible and because I do all of these things, and also people see me and they don't think I'm tired or I'm stressed or I'm overworked, because you always look good and you're always so much fun and you're always, and it's just like, I'm like,
you do this so well.
Yeah, I know how to do it.
I'm not even gonna try because you do it so well. I'm just gonna give it to you.
Yeah, and then my plate got really full, and I was like,
But did you realize it got full, or did your plate get too full that it kind of smashed you?
It smashed me. It smashed me.
We see each other.
Yeah, it smashed me, and it smashed me to the point that I was angry. I was angry, and I don't really feel anger much. I can't really tell you in my life that there's people I hate. But I got really angry when that happened. I just was like, yo, that's it. I'm sick. I was in the hospital. Where was everybody at when I needed them? And I went off. I went off. And
you're reading a chapter out of my book.
And that's another thing. Like prior to that, I'd be like, no, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. No, I know what the right thing is. Like, I'm gonna bitch in my car, but I'm gonna still do it. And after that, I was like, I can't. I'm tired and it's draining me, and I love you, but you could do this. You could do this. I have faith in you. You could do this. You ain't gotta call me. And so now my phone be on Do Not Disturb, because I have to learn to delegate and not always feel like I have to fix everything. Thank you for this therapy session, Tabitha.
I'm talking to you like how I talk to me, okay?
Yeah. No, I need that though, because some days you do get in your head, right? And some days I am sitting with my friends and I'm like, I'm not where I want to be. Why is this not happening? Why is it not happening fast enough? Where am I going? It does feel like that. And it's,
God, do you hear me when I'm talking? Hello?
Right. No, my prayer to God starts with, I know you're busy. And maybe, or there's things that are more important, because I know that there is. But it's like, at the same time, it's like, all right, well, I just need to touch the hem for a second.
So I recognize that there are a million things going on. And I'm not discounting them, but I'll be like, God, you know what every person needs.
Right.
You need all of us. And you see my heart. And I just believe that you want good for me and my life. And so as you see me struggling and you see me telling you, I am saying to you in the most genuine of hearts that I am at my breaking point. I can't take this anymore. When is the relief going to come? And can it come now? Because yesterday is far gone and tomorrow's too long.
Too far away. Yeah.
Right? Like just
Yeah.
That those are my prayers. And really just
I'm gonna use that every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
I
Every
told
day.
you all over the place. It's like, okay, listen.
That's how I feel. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I feel like I know in the scheme of the world, it might not be that important, but for me, I just need, maybe 5 minutes of attention.
I see the way God's moving, and there's a little blessing here, there's a little relief, and I'm not discounting that either. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
His prayer is, God, take what I'm asking for and multiply it beyond what I thought was possible.
Yeah. I love that. I love that, Tabitha. What is something you wish somebody would have told you as you went through life that you know now? Like if you had to look back at your life, what is something that you'd be like, you know what? I wish somebody would have told me.
Don't take your youth so seriously. Take the risks. Take the chances. Make the mistakes. That's the advice I give to young people. And I'm not saying be reckless.
Right.
I'm not saying put yourself in a life or death situation and wait to see how it turns out. I'm not saying that. I'm saying try all the things that you want to try.
Right. Don't limit yourself.
And I say that in the most general of sense. Like, don't take a relationship so seriously.
Right. Especially when you're young. I mean, I was married at like what, 21, 22, and now I'm divorced. I'm like, I wish that's what my thing. I was like, I wish somebody would have told me, that you might be too young. Go out there and experience the world a little bit. Date, have fun, travel, do all of those things.
Travel, see more, try more.
Yeah.
Literally make mistakes. Like I have a young girl that I mentor in college, and I told her, I said, listen, you're going to college. Mommy and daddy won't be there. No one will be there to save you. I will tell you to make every mistake you can possibly do, because at this stage, it's forgivable. By the time you graduate, it's going to be, you should have known better.
Right.
And she'll be told no one would have prepared you. Right. But I'm saying this to you, letting you know I am behind you 100% of the way. My phone is on, and I am here at your expense and disposal. So try, fail,
learn. Yeah. So that you're not trying to figure that out later on in your life. That's really good advice, Tabitha, because I don't think people say that enough. It's the opposite. You're in high school. They're like, what college you going to? What do you want to be when you grow up? You know what I mean? Don't do this. Don't do that. You're not going to get the, and so you don't get to be like a young person.
I hate that question. What are you going to be when you grow up? I hate that question.
I don't think we should ask anybody that question, because I recently learned, and I told you how I came to this, that I have done a number of things in my life. I've worked in mortgages. I've worked in radio. I'm now an educator, and who knows, I want to write a book one day and live in Bermuda. My outlook on that is, why do I have to pick one thing? Hold on, baby. Why do I have to pick just one thing? Why can't I be more than just one thing?
Because I don't get to water bill.
Okay.
Because we don't put Mommy has more to do.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
She just does what she wants.
Child too.
She's the first one, but she is like a firecracker. That's my granddaughter.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I have 3 kids, 26, 21, and 13. And
it doesn't even seem possible, first of all.
I have nothing on today. I was like, no makeup, no glasses, no nothing.
It's still a young girl.
Yeah, but I really don't think we should put people in a box. And I think when it comes to what you want to be when you grow up, it's almost like you're just telling someone they can only be one thing. And I don't think that's fair.
It took last year being on TikTok to learn something that took a huge weight off my shoulders. So we've all heard that saying, like, and I'm going to butcher it, but just flow with me, right? The saying where it's like, a jack of all trades just basically isn't good. Basically, like, a jack of all trades, master of none.
Right.
So I would always feel like I'm the jack of all trades, master of none, because I did so many different things. I had so many different gifts. And the fact that I couldn't figure out how to market it, how to package it to fit someone's very square job description, because I'm so much more than just those little bylines, then that means I'm not good enough.
I feel like that's me too. Like I can't pick just one thing. I can't say I like so many different things and I do so many different things. Why do I have to be limited to this box and this label?
Someone on TikTok gave the entire quote. They were like, people have been quoting this wrong for years. They say that it's jack of all trades, master of none. But the quote goes on to say, I'd rather have a jack than none.
Ah.
And you see how just saying like that little part, and mind you, I still butchered it a little bit, but that's the gist of it, changes your entire perspective. It makes you feel like, oh, these are attributes, not to my detriment.
Right. And then we need to just get society on that plane too, because we're like the only ones that are on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that we have to just get everybody on the same page, because I don't think
reinforces why we should just try.
Yeah, you're right. And why we should just embody the things that we love and enjoy and go ahead and do that.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure that's All right, Tabitha. Well, I'm not going to hold you. I just want to know what's next for the brand. Where can everybody find you? What's going on next?
What's next for the brand? I feel like I'm still pinky in the brain. I'm trying to conquer the world.
I feel like you can do it, Tabitha. I'm inspired. I'm about to leave and be like, I got to get on my grind. I've been slacking.
It's not even that. Just try.
Yeah.
Just try, because it's not grinding. It's not pushing yourself to the limit, because we both already said like how that breaks the mold. So just these little baby steps. Flow a little, push a little. What's next for the brand? Well, we're getting ready to launch What's Eating Harlem season 9, and I'm really excited because I worked so hard on this, with going to different places, trying different food, asking important questions, meetings, and trying to gather really interesting people. And more so, we just came out of the pandemic, and I'm not subscribing to everybody's fever pitch of we did nothing for 2 years, so now we have to go super hard. I'm not doing that. That's not what my body wants to do. So I'm doing things at a moderate pace that feel comfortable, so I can still feel like I'm enjoying life and I'm living in the moment. So I'm doing that. I have gotten back into music journalism, and hopefully my push will be that I finally set up my own website, because I've never done that.
I got you, girl. I got you.
Okay. Yeah, I need help. I need help with that. So you can follow me on Instagram. I am Tabitha W, and that's IAMTABITHA, and the W's for Williams.
I love it. Thank you so much, Tabitha. I appreciate it.
I had so much fun.
All of your good energy. I'm sorry about Ava, but I don't know why she's in here.
No.
But thank you so much for spending time and space with me and energy, and I appreciate it so much.
Thank you. Listen, I want to keep in contact because, like, you know.
Got you. Hold on. Let me just